Good evening. I am going to call the August Public Safety Events and Quality of Life Committee meeting to order for the Borough of Westchester. I'm Lisa Dorsey. I have with me Sheila Vaccaro and Nick Allen. We'll start this evening with comments, suggestions, petitions by residents in attendance regarding items not on the agenda.
Hello, Keith Karowski, Director of the Parks and Recreation Department. I lay before you a copy of a special event application. Any new event to the borough is subject to review by the Public Safety Committee. It has already been reviewed by the Police Department and the Parks and Recreation Department. This is a new event scheduled for October 14th called Outfest. The police have preliminarily reviewed the application, are in approval of the event. I'm bringing it before you for your information or for any feedback you may have. There are a couple items that the applicant still needs to provide to us: certificate of insurance, third-party subcontractors, and things of that nature. I wanted to get on in July. Unfortunately, I was not here, so I'm doing it now. If you have any questions about the event, I'll do the best I can to help answer those questions, but it mainly be in charge of the applicant to answer specifics about the event itself.
And I assume you have not spoken directly with Carrie?
I have not. I have emails into her directly. I have not heard back.
Okay. I don't have any questions, assuming we get, the insurance and all the required information.
There you go.
Yep.
The other event, and it's kind of more housekeeping, it's for the restaurant festival. Every year, due to the fact that we have a beer and wine garden at the restaurant festival, we need to apply for a special operations permit from the PALCB. They need proof from council that we've gotten that approval. I'm just bringing that before you. Usually if you guys are in approval of doing that again this year as we have in years past, that's fine. If it goes before council next week and it's approved there, all we need is a signature either from the borough manager or the president of council that I can then add to our application.
So, Mr. Metro, will we just add that to the work session or the voting session next week?
Yeah, the work session.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
All right,
thanks.
thanks. Any other comments? All right, we're going to move on then to item number 3, discussion items. And the first up is Chief Pelna, please.
Good evening, Steve Pelna, Fire Chief. Very busy for us recently, so some significant events. We started the month off of July. Our part of our teams out of Fame Fire Company, the Rescue Task Force, they were up in Bucks County. They assisted with the looking for the victims of the flooding. I'm sure you saw on the news that unfortunately perished during that. We had another underground transformer incident up here on East Gay Street in front of Taco Mar. So again, hopefully our Harmony project and PICO's upgrades get to a point where we don't have those issues anymore. We had some water rescues with all the significant rain events as of recent. We saw more out in East Bradford this go around. At Sharpless Works, we had a large response for an odor investigation where ultimately we were unable to truly narrow it down exactly what it was. When we left there, I evacuated three apartments, and codes followed up, and they've still been to this date. This was on the 26th, are still evacuated, and they have some environmental consultants in working through that process. But there hasn't been any danger found with the rest of the building. It's the Pinnacle building, the center building up here at Sharpless Works, but they have some environmental consultants working through that process to make sure there's no additional harm to residents or outside of the buildings. And last night, usually I try not to talk about the events that happen in between the end of the month, but last night we assisted the Downingtown Fire Department. Ultimately ended up being a 3-alarm fire at the quarry. And myself, Assistant Chief McClure from the Fire Department, and also Chief Brogan, were part of the Unified Command to help bring that under control. But because of our working relationship, not only fire and EMS, but also police, we were able to engage our police department. It was just outside East Bradford. However, they brought the drone from the police department, which has a thermal capability, which aided me greatly in as far as the extinguishment of the fire ultimately. So Officer Barnes, Sergeant McFarland, and Lieutenant Daly came out and assisted us on that. So that was a huge asset. And I just have to say, you know, we're very fortunate here with the working relationship between fire, police, and EMS. That doesn't happen everywhere. And there was no hesitation when I made that phone call to assist us with that. So it was a pretty major incident going on, and that was a great tool we were able to utilize for that.
That's great, Chief Pelna. Thank you.
Yep.
And Chief Brogan and Chief Moorhead for the coordination and collaboration. Did I understand you to say that the folks at Sharpless Works are still
Yeah, there's,
out of their homes?
well, three apartments.
Okay.
So ultimately, it came in as a carbon monoxide alarm. That's when we were called out. But with a lot of our metering devices, they can show what's called cross sensitivities, where it'll show that something's there. We just don't know exactly what it is. So because of that, we leaned heavily on the county hazmat team as well. And we checked for no less than 30 different materials, which showed also cross sensitivities with that as well. So because we weren't able to narrow it down, I just made the call that those three apartments until the property owner or manager was able to determine what that was to ensure those folks' safety.
And so right now there's no ETA when they can return to their residence?
They've gone through two different consultants at this point, and they haven't been able to figure it out as of today. So,
Okay, thank you.
all right.
Any other questions? All right.
All right. Thanks.
Chief.
Yep.
Okay, we'll move on to the police department. Chief Moorhead?
Good evening, James Moorhead, Chief of Police. For the month of July, the police department responded to 3,300 calls for service, of which 2,458 of those were in the borough. It was kind of an unremarkable month for the police department, not a lot of issues. Part 1 and Part 2 crime stayed similar to that of 2022. But if we go to page 3 and we look at the Part 1 crime statistics, of note, I would point out that our violent crime had a 33% reduction from this time last year. So that's always good to see. So our top 4 categories there all had reductions. But of slight concern, you can see there we did have a spike in property crime, mainly being theft. So just a small uptick. It's not a huge number. Nothing really to add to that. And that's the short report for the month of July. Take any questions you have.
I don't have any.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
Oh, there is a question?
Brian Travis, 304 South Walnut Street. I know that it doesn't seem like a concern, but there have been 7 burglaries in the southeast quadrant and none reported anywhere else. And within 5 blocks of my house, about 4 of them within 1 block. So I want to put it on record because I'm representing my community and we need some answers. So I'm hoping maybe you can give an update on some of this.
This is of huge concern to the police department. So it's not that we are not concerned with this. It's of much concern. The good thing is that detectives are in possession of a lot of Ring video, and we've been tracking down suspect data. So we're not ready to release any information on that yet. The burglaries have slowed, but we are pursuing it actively and following all the tips and leads. And I believe detectives are on to a name for those burglaries.
That's good news. Have we increased like patrol of that area?
Yes, we have increased patrol, and we also had detectives come in to do some what we call stakeouts during the hours of activity that we were seeing. So we are taking it very seriously.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other comments? Thank you. All right, Chief Brogan.
Good evening, Chaz Bergen, EMS Chief from Good Fellowship Ambulance. In the month of July, we responded to a total of 618 calls, 173 of which were in the borough of Westchester. Overall, our call volume is still running higher than last year. However, the borough is trending down compared to last year, which is good. So the rest of the report's pretty unremarkable unless you have any questions on it. The only other thing, I'll highlight what Chief Helena said, a lot of unique calls in the last month, especially with the storms and some of the specialty incidents we've had. So, and I'll echo the partnerships as well. So we've had a great relationship working together. So
Great, thank you.
questions at all?
Any questions? All right.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yep.
Any questions in the audience? All right, we'll move on to action items. Announce the offer of employment. Is that you, Chief Moorhead?
As Mayor DeBaptiste discussed with council last month, it was agreed that an offer of employment would go out to an officer candidate. That candidate, Kyle Livesay, has accepted that conditional offer. He had to complete his last two parts of testing, which are now done, passed successfully. So we're excited to swear in Mr. Livesay this coming Wednesday at the council voting session.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? All right, thanks. Okay, and 4B, approve the June 2023, I believe that should say July 2023, public safety meeting minutes. All right, thank you. Any other business? Chief?
Just one last thing that fits under other business. The police department is, or specifically myself, is seeking approval from the Public Safety Committee to begin a new hire test this fall. So we're looking to have this go to council next week for a vote so that we can begin our testing process for new hires for 2024. We expect to see some attrition due to retirement, and we'd like to get that test off the ground this November, maybe as late as early December.
And we've retired the previous list, I
It will.
guess? Okay, okay. Any questions? We've run through all those candidates that qualified on the previous list.
Could you ask that one more time?
We have gone through the candidates that qualified on the previous list from testing.
Yes, at this point, the mayor and I are both comfortable that this list has reached its end and we're ready to begin a new test.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, any other comments?
I just want to say that I've been working with some other townships in Pennsylvania, and I want to say how incredibly impressed I am with our various safety officers and all the amazing work that you do and how well you work together, because it makes a huge difference. I think our borough benefits greatly from that and the surrounding area. The cooperation that I see from all of you is beautiful, and I greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
And great job on National Night Out. I think you had a great turnout last week. I was here, it was very crowded. Lots of participation, lots of kids excited, lots of giveaways. So great job. All right, and with that, I will adjourn.